The hour is late, the room is quiet, and in the stillness every distraction falls away until only one question remains. Will you rise or will you rust? History is nothing but ordinary people answering that question with thunder in their veins. They were born barehanded into chaos, same as you, yet they carved miracles from thin air because they refused to worship the convenient altar of excuses. They understood a truth so simple it feels brutal. Destiny is not delivered, it is declared. And the declaration happens in private, long before the world applauds. You are standing on that fault line now, one step toward comfort, the other toward conquest. The earth will not stay still forever. Choose. Right there, standing on the ashes of excuses, you claim the throne of your own life. That is the moment when the empire begins, not with bricks or blueprints, but with belief forged in fire. So hear this, and hear it like your life depends on it. No one is coming to save you. No one is handing you your dream. No one owes you a damn thing. You can either burn the excuses or let the excuses burn your future. Because the truth, excuses are elegant lies dressed as logic. They sound responsible. They feel protective. But all they really do is cage your potential. I don't have time. I didn't grow up with money. I'm not the type. Tell that to Oprah. Tell that to Lincoln. Tell that to the child who grew up in the backwoods of Kentucky, lost his mother, taught himself to read, and changed the course of a nation. Tell it to Thomas Edison, who failed over 1,000 times, not because he was privileged, but because he was possessed by vision. Tell it to the version of you who could have already started but didn't. If your mind is scattered, fearful, undisciplined, your life will mirror it. But when your mind is precise like a blade, grounded like stone, and clear like firelight, nothing outside you can control you. You must become a master of thought, a soldier of the unseen. Your inner world becomes your outer world. But here's what most people miss. It's not just belief. It's relentless belief, unshakable, unyielding, uninterrupted by rejection, by ridicule, by reality. Because reality doesn't create belief. Belief creates reality. Carnegie didn't wait for someone to believe in him. Disney was told he lacked imagination. Ford was laughed at for dreaming of a car without a horse. And yet here we are, living in the echoes of their defiance. So what about you? Will your mind build a prison or a palace? A man without a vision is like a ship without a compass, and the sea does not favor the lost. Clarity is not a luxury, it is your weapon. You must know what you want, not what your parents wanted, not what school suggested, not what Instagram shoved in your feed. What you want. Define it, write it, speak it, burn it into your subconscious so deeply it echoes through your dreams. You don't get to build an empire by being vague. You don't get to win by being open to whatever happens. No, you declare, you design, you dominate. Don't say you want success. That's a moving target. Say you want $100,000 in your account by this time next year. Say you want your name to be known in your field. Say you want to be in the best physical shape of your life. Specificity creates energy. Vagueness drains it. A general goal creates general effort. A clear goal creates a war plan. And you're not here to wander. You're here to conquer. Every empire has its architect, and his name is discipline. Discipline is the muscle behind the mind, the bridge between intentions and outcomes. Do not chase motivation. Motivation is weather. Discipline is the climate. You don't get to rule your world on days you feel like it. You rise when the alarm says rise. You move when the plan says move. Discipline says I'll do it regardless of mood, regardless of sleep, regardless of who's watching. It's not punishment. It's not suffering. It is alignment. Alignment with the version of yourself you promised to become. Every time you honor a routine, complete a rep, finish a project, you build a vote for that version. You sculpt the man or woman who leads, who earns, who builds legacies. You don't need a degree to become legendary. You need discipline. Wake up early. Study when others sleep. Practice when others scroll. Make yourself undeniable. Most will never do it. They plead for better timing, softer landings, easier roads. They cling to petty grievances as if resentment were a life raft. Unaware it drags them deeper. They wait for the weather of motivation to turn sunny. But legendary builders are climatologists of the mind. They create their own weather system. This moment, they summon lightning. Every empire begins with a mindset. and a mindset is nothing but thoughts you refuse to betray. Spend a day with your thoughts and you will meet the architect of your future. Spend a lifetime mastering them and you will wake to find the world reshaped by your fingerprints. Edison stared at darkness and imagined light. Carnegie stared at poverty and imagined iron bridges rising like triumph over rivers. Disney stared at a blank canvas and saw worlds spinning with color. They did not ask if the world approved of their visions. They asked if they were willing to pay the price to make them real. Belief, then, is the furnace. It must be stoked daily, hourly, moment by moment, until doubt chokes on the heat. Affirmations are not magic spells whispered into the void. They are marching orders issued to the subconscious. When you repeat, "I will," you are not lying to yourself. You are programming the hardware of the mind. Ford refused to accept the word impossible when tasked to build a V8. The engineers protested. Physics protested. Common sense protested. He reissued the order. Build it. They discovered possibility hiding inside persistence. That is belief at work. Clarity sharpens belief into a blade. Vagueness is the enemy of power because you cannot hit a target you cannot define. Write it down. Numbers, dates, colors, smells etch the details of the dream until the dream becomes a blueprint. Napoleon Hill watched the most prosperous minds of his age and saw the same ritual repeated, definiteness of purpose. Rockefeller specified profits to the dollar. Lincoln refined goals to the clause. Mandela focused freedom into a single line. One man, one vote. Vagueness wastes energy. Specificity weaponizes it. Vision is clarity stretched across the horizon. Close your eyes and picture the castle you wish to inhabit, the hallways echoing with laughter, the balance sheet glowing with abundance, the calendar brimming with impact. Feel the marble beneath your feet, the pen signing the check, the crowds moved by your words. Neuroscience calls it visualization. The ancients called it prophecy. Either way, reality bends toward the images you hold with conviction. Walt Disney saw an empire of imagination while standing in a rat-infested studio. Others saw rodents. He saw mice that would one day dance across global screens. Vision makes the invisible inevitable. Purpose fuels the long march. Money is marvelous but fickle. Status shines yet slips. Applause erupts then fades. Purpose endures because it transcends flesh. Harriet Tubman risked bullet and chain because liberation outvalued life. Elon Musk sleeps on factory floors because planetary destiny matters more than comfort. When your purpose roars loud enough, fatigue loses voice, critics lose tongue, setbacks lose sting. Dig until you strike the bedrock reason that makes tears line your eyes, then tether everything to it. Discipline converts purpose into progress. Forget the myth of motivation. Motivation is a guest who arrives late and leaves early. Discipline is the spouse who stays. It shows up at dawn, laces your shoes, shuts the alarm that begs for mercy, and drags you to the arena. Muhammad Ali said he hated every minute of training, yet he trained because he loved the idea of being champion. That is discipline, doing what you despise so that you may deliver what you desire. Treat your habits like soldiers, exact, relentless, obedient. Protect the morning, guard the evening. Chain routine to the throne of consistency until excellence becomes autopilot. Action is faith wearing work boots. Plans without execution are mausoleums, magnificent yet filled with nothing but ghosts of good intentions. The Wright brothers did not merely draft schematics. They sprinted across dunes at Kitty Hawk and hurled wood into sky until sky agreed. Progress is messy, bruised, sweat-stained. Embrace the mess. The first article will flop, the first prototype will sputter, the first speech will tremble. Move anyway. Momentum honors the courageous. Gratitude keeps ambition from rotting into entitlement. It does not dilute desire, it directs it. Wake up and count the breaths that cost nothing, the sunrise that charges no fee, the mentors whose wisdom collapsed decades into minutes. Gratitude transforms obstacles into opportunities because it recalibrates focus from scarcity to possibility. Choose to see blessings and your brain will seek solutions. Carnegie endowed libraries because he remembered reading by flickering lamp as a child. He knew wealth is water, stagnant when hoarded, purifying when it flows. Adaptability is survival's secret. Markets crash, pandemics stalk, technologies disrupt, alliances shift. The rigid snap, the flexible rule. IBM pivoted from punch cards to mainframes, then to consulting. Netflix evolved from DVDs to streaming to global production. Nature herself champions the adaptable gene. Hold the mission, but loosen the method. If the strategy fails, change the battlefield, never the banner. Resilience is the empire's shield. Defeat visits everyone. Surrender invites it to stay. Lincoln lost elections, businesses, a loved one, yet became the voice that bound a broken nation. Oprah endured abuse, but birthed an empire of empathy. They did not confuse a chapter with the story's end. When doors slam, knock again, bang harder, build your own doorway. Each scar is a testament. You bled, but you breathed. Learning is the perpetual forge. Knowledge compounds faster than interest, and ignorance is tax on potential. Read until curiosity is quenched, then read more. Seek mentors, devour biographies, dissect failures. Edison mined every setback for instruction. In 10,000 failed filaments, he found 10,000 lessons that paved the path to light. The world belongs to those who keep their minds under construction. Leadership emerges when self-mastery overflows. Lead first the kingdom within, your impulses, fears, doubts. Then watch others rally to the standard you raise. People follow clarity, courage, character. They sense authenticity the way sailors feel wind. Speak truth, honor commitments, lift others higher than they imagine. Carnegie multiplied millionaires because he shared spoils. Jobs demanded excellence until silicone sang. Mother Teresa guided hearts by washing the feet of forgotten souls. Leadership is legacy in motion. Service transforms success into significance. Wealth without contribution is vanity's trophy room. Impressive, hollow, easily forgotten. Channel profit into platforms that pull others up the mountain. Plant scholarships, mentor rebels, ignite industries in places deserts once reigned. When you pour greatness into others, greatness circles back, multiplied. Ziegler whispered an eternal equation. Help enough people get what they want, and you will get everything you want. Courage undergirds it all. Fear will howl, of judgment, of failure, of unworthiness. Yet courage is not lack of fear. It is love of the mission greater than the terror. When Rosa Parks refused her seat, her heartbeat raced, but conviction raced faster. When Neil Armstrong stepped onto lunar dust, uncertainty loomed larger than the moon, but wonder loomed larger still. Train courage with small wins, the cold call, the tough conversation, the audacious proposal. Each victory shrinks the monster until you tower above it. Time is the empire's currency, once spent, unrecoverable. Audit your hours like a financier audits funds. Social media siphons kingdoms 5 seconds at a time. Gossip devours dynasties an anecdote at a time. Guard minutes, they birth milestones. Trade evenings of triviality for epochs of mastery. Sacrifice is simply swapping what you want now for what you want most. Environment molds ambition in silence. Surround yourself with builders, dreamers, challengers. Iron sharpens iron. Decay dulls steel. If the room echoes with excuses, leave. If the dialogue drips with vision, stay and contribute fuel. Carnegie built a mastermind before Hill coined the term thinkers, financiers, industrialists, each refining the other's edge. You deserve no less. Energy is the hidden ledger. Sleep, nutrition, movement, non-negotiable lines in the budget of greatness. Tesla napped in laboratory corners to repay the cognitive debt of genius. Modern giants tap meditation, cold plunges, sunlight. The mind may command, but the body delivers. Treat it like a racehorse, not a rental. Innovation reignites stalled empires. Question the unquestioned. Why not electric vehicles on every driveway? Why not 10-minute delivery across continents? Why not a phone in every pocket, a computer in every wrist? Progress is a series of impolite questions that refuse to accept yesterday's ceiling. Become impolite. Integrity cements the foundation. Cut corners and cracks spread unseen until towers topple. Lincoln led with honesty so unshakable his nickname outlived him. Warren Buffett guards reputation because losing it would cost what billions cannot buy back: trust. Success built on deceit decays beneath its own weight. Faith bridges logic's limits. Logic calculates probabilities. Faith manufactures possibilities. Earhart believed flight could circumnavigate gender. King believed justice could trump centuries. Jobs believed rectangles of glass could revolutionize communication. Faith is the architect of miracles disguised as madness. Cultivate it with prayer, meditation, reflection. Whatever lights your inner altar. Passion ignites the engine, but patience steers the voyage. Empires rise over decades, not weekends. Amazon started in a garage of cardboard chaos. Rome laid roads stone by stone. Speed thrills, but endurance triumphs. Celebrate swift wins but commit to the marathon. Communication wields influence. Words are seeds. Sow them with precision. Churchill rallied nations through cadence. Maya Angelou healed wounds through verse. Hill himself transmitted secrets of wealth through the alchemy of language. Refine your rhetoric. It is the soundtrack of leadership. Execution demands decisiveness. Overanalysis breeds paralysis. Perfect plans perish waiting for flawless conditions. Eisenhower altered D-Day under tempest skies because momentum mattered more than meteorology. Decide, adjust, advance. Action will clarify what planning cannot foresee. Momentum becomes prophecy. Each completed task greases gears for the next. Each delay rusts them. Stack tiny triumphs until they roar. A single push-up births a workout. A single sale births a company. A single apology births reconciliation. Keep the wheel turning. Legacy whispers from tomorrow. Ask, what fingerprint will you leave on the pulse of time? Will children study the empire you forged? Will strangers reap shade from trees you planted? Legacy begins now in the emails you send, the risks you shoulder, the compassion you extend to the overlooked. Live so wide and deep that history must make room. Now the sky itself feels different, doesn't it? A crackling sense that possibility is inhaling, waiting for your exhale. The excuses are whimpering in a corner, cornered by truth. They know their reign is ending. Fire marches down your veins, torch in hand, ready to burn them to ash. So breathe, builder. Feel the gravity of what stands before you. A life unclaimed, a dynasty unborn, a chapter still blank. Hear the chorus of ancestors. Tubman, Edison, Hill, Tesla, cheering from the balcony of eternity, shouting one command that rattles the bones of mediocrity. Build. Build today when energy is scarce. Build tomorrow when critics crescendo. Build next year when storms converge. Brick by bruised brick, idea by sleepless idea, prayer by persistent prayer. Build until the walls echo with laughter that once sounded impossible. Build until your children call ceilings what you once called stars. Build until strangers watch documentaries about the night you said enough. When fear knocks, let purpose answer. When doubt whispers, let discipline respond. When fatigue drags, let vision lift. You are no echo. You are the originating sound. You are no stargazer. You are the constellation's architect. Look one last time at the ashes of every excuse you ever nurtured, then turn away forever. The horizon is smoldering with opportunity, waiting for the architect who bears no chains. Take the first step. Momentum will multiply it. History will magnify it. Legacy will memorialize it. And when you reach that summit, breath ragged, eyes blazing, you will see new ranges rising. You will build again, bigger, bolder, beyond what language can frame. Because empire is not a place, it is a practice. It is the relentless act of creation, fueled by faith, forged by fire, finished by perseverance. Now go. The world is wide, the clock is relentless, and your empire is calling. Let the echo of your footsteps drown the silence of someday. Let the brightness of your becoming blind every doubter. Let the roar of your resolve remind the universe that greatness still walks the earth, and today it walks wearing your name. You don't wait to feel ready. You don't wait for certainty. You don't wait for permission. You declare it. Why are you building this empire? For money? That'll fade. For status? That'll rot. But purpose? Purpose is the heartbeat that never stops pounding. You must find your reason, not just a reason, the reason. The one that makes you rise when you're broken. The one that silences fear. The one that laughs at rejection. The one that makes quitting feel like betrayal. Purpose is what turned men into mountains. It's what kept Mandela standing in prison. It's what made Martin Luther King's voice thunder through history. It's what made Helen Keller speak, even in silence. When you know your why, you will find the how. Purpose is fire. Purpose is armor. Purpose is the one thing the world can't take from you unless you forget you had it. So find it, or remember it, and never let it die. No more waiting, no more planning, no more getting ready. It's time to move, because clarity without action is fantasy. Belief without action is self-deception. Discipline without action is wasted power. You want the life? Earn it. You want the money? Build something. You want respect? Do the work. You think empires were built on ideas. No, they were built on sweat. They were built on dirt and risk and rejection. Edison didn't invent the light bulb in theory. He got electrocuted. He got laughed at. He got told no, and he kept going. You cannot learn your way into success. You cannot dream your way into wealth. You act. You move. You risk. You execute. And when you fail, good. That's part of it. Every fall is a step, but the only sin is staying down. The only curse is hesitation. Action is your proof of belief, so prove it. Every empire that refused to adapt was eventually buried by time. Don't you ever confuse consistency with rigidity. Don't let your discipline become dogma. The world shifts, and so must you. The man who refuses to bend will break. The mind that can't pivot will perish. Your mission doesn't change, but your strategy must. Darwin never said the strongest survive. He said the most adaptable do. The businesses that thrived through recessions, pandemics, and chaos weren't the biggest. They were the fastest to shift. The leaders who rise in every generation aren't those with perfect plans. They're the ones who move fast, learn faster, and never stop adjusting. The moment you say this is the only way, you start digging your own grave. You don't fear change, you command it. You don't resist discomfort, you initiate it. You stay hungry, curious, alert, because life is war and the terrain is always changing. Adaptability is not weakness. It is agility. It is the intelligence of survival. It is the force behind innovation, behind reinvention, behind greatness. Burn the pride. Burn the "this is how it's always been." Build the empire that learns faster than it falls. Now listen carefully, because this is where warriors lose their soul. In the pursuit of more, you must never forget what you already have. Gratitude is not softness. It is not surrender. It is your inner fortress. When the world rages outside, gratitude keeps you steady. When the numbers dip, when the critics roar, when the momentum slows, gratitude keeps you focused, because you are already rich. If you have time to try, you are rich. If you can think, move, speak, you are rich. If you can wake up and choose one more step, you are wealthy beyond kings. Gratitude is the antidote to entitlement. It sharpens hunger, not dulls it. It reminds you, I don't need to do this, I get to. Edison was grateful for every failure because it brought him closer to the solution. Napoleon Hill was grateful for every rejection because it led him deeper into his truth. You too must be grateful, even now, especially now, because gratitude doesn't slow ambition, it protects it. The storm will come, no matter how perfect your plan, how strong your faith, how clean your effort. Life will punch you in the mouth. Good, let it. Because this empire of yours is not built on what happens when it's easy. It's built on what you do when everything falls apart. Pain is the tax you pay for greatness. Failure is the tuition for success. Rejection is the fee to enter the arena. You think Ford didn't fail? You think Elon hasn't been laughed at by every room he walked into? You think Lincoln didn't break under pressure so heavy it nearly killed him? The greats all bled, all suffered, all broke, but they reassembled themselves. They became stronger at the broken places. Resilience is not just endurance, it's refusal. Refusal to be defined by pain. Refusal to stay down. Refusal to say this is the end when it's just the beginning. You don't build resilience reading about it. You build it one scar at a time. So don't fear adversity. Welcome it. Because every storm that doesn't kill you builds you. And every time you rise again, you become less like the world and more like a legend. Here's the truth. Your mind is your greatest weapon or your greatest weakness. It depends on what you feed it. The day you stop learning is the day you start dying. Empires are not made by the smartest man in the room. They're made by the most obsessed with improvement. If you don't have the answers, get the books. If you don't have the skills, find the mentors. If you're surrounded by mediocrity, outgrow it. You were not born to remain the same. Growth is not optional. It is the oxygen of mastery. Even Carnegie, the richest man of his time, was still learning, still reading, still evolving, because he knew the second he stopped feeding his mind, his empire would start to rot from within. Knowledge is leverage, wisdom is compound interest, and learning daily, relentlessly, humbly, is how you move from man to monarch. You are not here to coast. You are here to become a force of nature. So learn, adapt, level up. Your empire demands it. So now we arrive at the moment of truth, not mine, yours, because everything you need has already been said. Everything you seek already lives inside you, buried beneath the noise, the fear, the hesitation. You don't lack motivation. You don't lack time. You don't lack opportunity. You lack a decision. And that decision, to rise, to build, to dominate, can no longer be delayed. You've seen the world hand crowns to those who didn't wait, to those who weren't the most talented, or the best connected, or the most lucky, but to those who refused to die with their greatness still inside them. So here it is, your line in the sand. Do you stay where it's safe, where the excuses cradle your comfort, where the dream dies in quiet, polite silence, or do you stand? Do you roar back at every setback and say, I will not die ordinary? Do you silence the doubt, face the fire, and build the damn thing anyway? Because this world does not respond to wishes, it responds to will. It bends to those who bend reality. It kneels before the few who walk with conviction, with vision, with zero apologies. You don't get there by accident. You don't stumble into greatness. You build it, brick by brick, day by day, sacrifice by sacrifice. You build it with blood in your mouth and a smile on your face because you know what you're here for. You burn the excuses, you bury the lies, and you build an empire so bold, so loud, so undeniable that the version of you who once hesitated never even existed. This is your time. This is your hour. This is your empire. Now go build it and don't look back.